Let's talk about marketing your voiceover business.
You're a voice actor. You're an entrepreneur. You're a VOPRENEUR. Welcome to the Everyday VOPRENEUR podcast, your guide through the business of voiceover.
Your voiceover demos are your #1 marketing tool, and you need to display them on your website in a way that works on any device or browser. VoiceSam is the player producers love. Plus, it offers tools that can improve your email signature, quickly create a one-page website, and much more. Sign up now at voicesam.com/MarkScott and get 3 months of the base player for the price of 1. That's voicesam.com/MarkScott for full details and to sign up.
The VOPRENEUR podcast. Hey, it doesn't suck.
Not as funny as Conan. Not as cute as Seth Meyers. Not as smart as Colbert. But he's one of us, and that counts for something. Here's Mark Scott, the original Everyday VOPRENEUR.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Everyday VOpreneur podcast, your guide through the business of voiceover. I'm Mark Scott, the original Everyday VOpreneur, ready to give you some more actionable, practical advice that you can apply specifically to your voiceover business. Before we dive into this week's episode, I want to say thank you. Last week was episode 100, and it was a little bit of a different type of episode. It is genuinely one that came from the heart. And I just sat down and started talking for a while, and I thought that everything that I had to say would probably resonate, but I wasn't expecting how much it was going to resonate. And so for all of you who have reached out to me through social media, who have reached out to me directly through email, sent me messages, I just want you to know that I am grateful, and I appreciate you taking the time to do that, and I am glad that episode resonated with so many people in such a strong and powerful way. And if you haven't had a chance to listen to last week's episode yet, I would encourage you to do that. You can, of course, go back through your archives wherever you listen to podcasts, or you can head over to VOPRENEUR.com, check out episode 100, straight talk about the challenges of voiceover marketing. Again, that's episode 100 at VOPRENEUR.com. I want to keep the marketing discussion going this week. Kind of pick up where we left off. I figured, hey, we're talking about marketing. It's resonating with people. They're liking what they're hearing, giving them some truth. Why not give them a little bit more? And so that's what this episode is all about. 5 things you need to understand about marketing your voiceover business. And these are just some things that I have picked up along the way. And, I teach this, but I'm still a student as well. And I'm constantly learning. But as I reflect back on my journey to build my voiceover business from nothing, There are certain factors, I guess you'd say, that stand out more than others. So that's what I want to give you in this week's episode. The first thing I want to talk about is consistency. I cannot overstate how important consistency is, particularly when you are first starting out. When you get to a point where you've built a really nice business for yourself, you've got some regular clients coming in, I understand that sometimes you're going to be busy, and that it's going to make it a little bit harder for you to do your marketing. I understand that every time we get busy, the very first thing that we sacrifice is our marketing. The challenge or the problem with that, I suppose you might say, is that more often than not, the things that we are quote unquote busy doing are generally not priorities. They're just things that we would rather do than marketing because maybe they're easier, or maybe they're more fun, or maybe we've convinced ourselves that they are the most important things. But regardless of all of that, I cannot overstate to you how important consistency is in your marketing. I hear people all the time who say, Mark, I signed up for a LinkedIn account and I shared some posts and I added some new people into my network and it's just not working for me. I'm like, okay, well, but how long have you been doing this for? I'm like, well, like a month. I was on there a couple times a week for like a month, and I'm like, okay, come back to me when you've been on LinkedIn daily for 6 months and talk to me about what your results are, because consistency is key. Same thing with people who are doing their email marketing. Well, I sent 25 emails this week, and then the week before that, I sent 25 emails. But the week before that, I didn't send any. Probably the month before that, I probably only sent like 6. And then they wonder why things aren't happening. Consistency is key. I talk about in the voiceover marketing playbook, and I've talked about it probably in this podcast even, when I was first starting out, I know I talked about this last week, I was contacting 100, sometimes 200 people, sometimes 300 people a week consistently. When I was trying to build my business, I was reaching out to people every single day. So whatever your strategy of choice is, whether it is email marketing or using a social media platform, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, doesn't matter. They are only going to work to the extent that you use them consistently. And consistently is more than a couple of weeks. Consistently is more than once or twice a week for a few weeks. Consistency in this context, I'm talking about daily action. I'm talking about daily visiting LinkedIn, daily getting onto Instagram, daily checking out Twitter, daily sending emails, daily making phone calls, whatever the strategy of choice or strategies of choice that you choose to play, consistency is going to be key. And if you are not seeing the results that you want to see, I think that probably a big part of that could be a lack of consistency. You have to understand, particularly in social media, part of the way that the algorithms work, the more that they see you, the more love that they give you. And so if you have built up a little bit of love from a LinkedIn algorithm, for example, but then you let it fall by the wayside because you get, quote unquote, busy, you've just killed your consistency, which means you have just tanked all of those results that you've spent the last number of months building. So yeah, this is not easy because you need to be consistent, and you need to be consistent for the long haul. Speaking of the long haul, that's actually number 2 on the list. Marketing in this context is often about playing the long game. Now, in VoiceOver Marketing Playbook, I actually share a screenshot of my inbox, and it shows the entire sequence of emails between me and a client from my initial contact until the first time that they booked me. And you'll see that it was a few years before that happened. Well, last week, I had an even better story. I reached out to an explainer video company on June 14th of 2013. So this would have been my second year full-time in VoiceOver, when I'm still contacting people like crazy. June 14th, 2013, I reached out with that initial email. And over the years, I sent a bunch more emails, most of which went unanswered. But I never gave up. Every once in a while, I'd just try to spark the conversation again. Every once in a while, I'd look for a new contact if there was a new contact, and I'd try to reach out again. June 14th, 2013. Okay, that was the first introductory email that I sent to them. My first booking with them was March 25th, 2021. They were so happy with the finished product that I sent them. They already told me that they were adding me to the roster. We've already discussed a rate card because they're consistently doing the same type of work. Everything has been agreed to, and they are looking forward to a long and prosperous relationship together for both sides. June 14th, 2013. Initial email. First booking, March 25th, 2021. If you are listening to this episode right now, and I know you are, can you honestly say that you would have kept going for 8 years? Can you honestly say that you would have kept reaching out to this company, even though you were never getting any responses? Would you have just kept trying every few months or every year until you finally got the response that you were looking for? Or did you give up after the first email? Did you give up after the second email? What I teach is not rocket science, all right? I'll be the first to admit it. You buy the VoiceOver Marketing Playbook, I'm going to walk you through all of these processes of what I'm doing, but it's not rocket science. It's consistency, and it's preparation for the long haul. Now, does everyone go like that? No, of course not. Sometimes I reach out to a company and it's, you hit the exact right company on the exact right day and they book you right away. Sometimes I reach out to companies and they book me within a couple of months. Sometimes I reach out to companies and, it takes a year before that first booking comes in. So not all of them are like this. But the greater point here is if I had given up on this particular one that I'm talking about after 8 years, I would have lost out on the money from that first booking, and I would have lost out on every other dollar that I'm going to make from every other booking that is going to come going forward. And I don't want to take that risk. So I just keep trying. Are you willing to keep trying? Because to market yourself successfully in this industry, you got to be prepared for the long game. If you've been listening to this podcast for any length of time, if you've been through even a half a dozen or so episodes, then you know how important marketing is to growing a successful voiceover business. You appreciate, you respect, you understand how important marketing is to growing a successful voiceover business. But maybe you still don't understand how to do it. Maybe you still don't know exactly what that means or what it looks like. Maybe you're not sure what strategies are there or how to employ those strategies. Maybe you're not sure where to look for all of these opportunities that are supposed to be out there. I want to help you with that. If you've got professional training, demos in a home studio, but you're still not booking, and if you're feeling confused, overwhelmed, and frustrated by this whole entire marketing thing, the good news is this is something that we can fix. VoiceOver Marketing Playbook is a step-by-step, easy-to-follow marketing course that is going to give you a clear plan for finding your own leads, building your own client base, and becoming the consistently working voice actor that you want to be. This is the playbook that I used to grow my own six-figure voiceover business. This is the playbook that I still use now to maintain that business. It's not easy. It takes time. There's a lot of hard work involved. But if you're willing, I can show you the way. If you are willing, I can teach you how to make it happen. That's what the VoiceOver Marketing Playbook is all about. A 6-hour video course. When you sign up, you'll get instant access. You'll be able to watch the entire course, and you are going to get all of the important foundational information that you need to grow your voiceover business. That's the way the playbook has been designed. Playbook is available again from April 6th through the 15th, 2021, and I can tell you this will be your last opportunity to get in before the fall. That again is April 6th through the 15th, 2021, and the details will be available at voiceovermarketingplaybook.com. That's voiceovermarketingplaybook.com.
Now, back to our show.
I have stated many times publicly, different times in podcasts that I've been interviewed for. I've said it in Free Advice Fridays. I talk about it in a lot of different venues publicly, that I would rather be duct taped to a bed of nails and have my chest hairs individually plucked by an angry army of garden gnomes than make a cold call. Not my jam, all right? I don't want to make a cold call. You couldn't convince me to make a cold call. I am never going to make a cold call. That's why I do email marketing. But that's where the misconception begins, because sometimes people hear me say that and they assume that that means that cold calling doesn't work. And that is absolutely not the case. So lesson number 3 in 5 things that you need to understand about marketing your voiceover business is that there isn't specifically one right way. Now, I do believe that there are things that you need to do consistently across the board. I do believe that there are fundamentals that apply regardless of how you are choosing to market yourself. But the most important factor in all of this is that you actually market yourself. So for me, because I do not enjoy cold calling, I do use email, and I love doing email marketing. And I have found ways to make email marketing work for me and for my business in a very powerful way. That is literally the foundation upon which my voiceover business has been built. I also really enjoy using LinkedIn. And so I have found ways to make LinkedIn work for me and work for my marketing. One of the jobs that I booked last week came off of LinkedIn. I'm consistently finding new and great opportunities and clients and building great relationships on LinkedIn. But maybe that's not for you. Maybe you don't enjoy LinkedIn. And so when I say that there's not one right way, what I'm really saying is there are a lot of angles that you can come at this from. For some, that is going to be email marketing. For some, that is going to be cold calling. I know people who absolutely dominate in the in-person networking space, and the last year has been incredibly difficult for them because they haven't been able to get into that space. Nobody's been doing in-person networking events because of COVID. And so they've had to learn to adapt and find new ways to market and put themselves out there, but they can't wait to be able to get back to in-person networking again. Maybe your jam is TikTok. Maybe it is LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. What matters is that you are doing something and you are doing it consistently and that you are prepared to do it for the long haul. Because one of the other things I always say is marketing is all about building relationships, and building relationships takes time. You see how this all ties together? So if you want a cold call, cold call. If you want to do email marketing, you do email marketing. If you want to own LinkedIn, then you go ahead and you own LinkedIn. If you are going to become the king or queen of Instagram, then you go ahead and you become the king or queen of Instagram. There is not one right way to do this. You can make a lot of different strategies work. As long as you have the fundamentals in play, as long as you're following the basic rules, I even hate to use the word rules, but some of the basic rules of marketing, some of the basic theories of marketing, then you can make a lot of different strategies work. The most important thing is that you are doing something and that you are doing it every single day. And that brings us to point number 4, which is you're building a business. What is the key word inside of that statement? Building. This is not Extreme Makeover Home Edition, which probably dates me for some of you listening to this episode. But some of you will remember Ty and his crew showing up and building these monstrosity houses in 7 days. And it was incredible. And it was ridiculous. And nobody understood how it was physically possible. Because anybody that has ever done even the slightest little home renovation knows that for some reason, you want to fix your bathroom and it takes 6 months with a contractor. But Extreme Makeover Home Edition, they can build a stinking house in 7 days. And it's absolutely incredible. That is, of course, the exception to the rule. What I want you to remember here is that you're building a business. And just like if you were building anything else, it is going to take time. It is going to require certain steps. It is going to require certain processes. And it is going to require a strong foundation. You need to have a strong foundation to build that business. And that strong foundation absolutely involves marketing, but it does not involve marketing exclusively. That strong foundation upon which you are going to build your business is going to include every last bit of coaching and training that you've done. It is going to include the quality of the website that you build for yourself. It is going to include the quality and quantity of demos that you have produced for your business. All of these things are essential to building a business, but all of these things are also essential to marketing that business. If you don't have great demos, I can't help you. If you haven't done any training and you don't have the ability to deliver professional quality voiceovers, and no offense, but you are not probably objective enough to make that determination by yourself without professional quality coaching. But regardless, if you haven't done that step, I can't help you because you have to be able to deliver. If you haven't gone out and got the demos that we're going to market you with, I can't help you. I can't help you build the business because you don't have the blocks necessary to build the business. This is why when I talk about Playbook, I specifically mention that you need to have professional coaching and professional training, professional demos, a professional home studio. These are the building blocks. This is the foundation upon which your business is built, and you need to build it in the right order. You don't go out and start marketing yourself and trying to book voiceover work so that you can make money so that then you can get your initial coaching. It doesn't work that way. You got to do the coaching first so that you're ready to do the booking, so that you're able to deliver a top-notch service to your client. And so when it comes to things that you need to understand about marketing your voiceover business, you need to understand that this is something that you're going to build, and building it is going to take time, and building it is going to require certain things in place first. My opinion, after doing this for a long time, and after coaching, I don't even know, probably thousands of voice actors at this point, you need to have foundational training with a reputable coach. You need to have your home studio set up, and you need to know that it sounds good. You need to have a demo, ideally a couple of demos that have been professionally produced, that are a reflection, an accurate reflection of you and your skill and your ability. And I think you got to have your website up because you need some place to direct people. If you don't have those things, I can't help you because you're not ready for me yet. If you don't have those things, you are not ready to start marketing yourself. And if you do market yourself before you have those things, I think that you're ultimately going to hurt yourself in the long run, because you know the saying, you never get a second chance to make a first impression. Well, without some of the foundational things in place to build your business, you are not going to make a great first impression. And I don't want to see you hurt yourself, and that is why I can't help you. I can't help you until you have some of those other things in play. The final thing on the list, 5 things you need to understand about marketing your voiceover business, is that the end objective is to not get an agent who's going to market it for you. Let me clarify that statement. Absolutely, you can have an agent. And absolutely, your agent is going to do some marketing for you. Or at least I hope they're going to do some marketing for you. If they're a good agent, then their objective is to try to help you get work, because they don't make money if you don't make money. So if they're a good agent and they're looking to help you make money so that they can make money, they are going to market you. But that is not the end strategy. And I think that there is still a major misconception about that. Now, is the story a little bit different in a place like LA? Maybe. Maybe it's a little bit of a different story. Maybe the agent is the end game, depending on what you're trying to accomplish. But for, 90% of us that are in the industry, the agent is a tool in the toolbox, but the agent is not the end game. And I want to clarify this point because I think that too often, particularly people that are starting out, think that the agent is the end game. If I can just get myself to that agent, then everything is going to be taken care of. That is absolutely not the case. My agents, I have 3, were responsible for maybe 1% of my income in 2020. I don't even know if it was that much. And probably about the same in 2019. And so if I was working towards the objective of just getting signed by an agent so that I can just sit back and wait for the opportunities to come, I would be screwed. And I don't want you to be screwed. I don't want to crush all your hopes and dreams. I think agents are an important piece of the puzzle. I think that they're going to bring you opportunities that you are not going to get on your own. I also think that they can become an incredibly valuable member of your team, because sometimes you may need to reach out to your agent to help you with jobs that you do book on your own. Maybe you need them to help you with a contract, or maybe you need them to help you with negotiation. Maybe you can reach out to them and ask them to help you with coming up with a rate. And I think that's a very important piece of the puzzle. I just want you to understand realistically that it is not the only piece of the puzzle. You are still going to have to do your own marketing no matter what. I don't care how many agents you have. I don't care how many casting sites you have. You still need to take ownership for your business, the business that you are building, and you are still going to have to market yourself. You are still going to have to go out there on a daily basis and find opportunities. Create opportunities. These are 5 truths that I have learned in growing my own business. That you need to be consistent, and consistent means daily, not monthly. That you need to be prepared to do this for the long haul, because I don't care what YouTube video you watched from whatever coach you think is the ultimate voiceover coach. If they are telling you that this is going to happen quickly, they are full of crap, and you should not be listening to them. And you absolutely should not be spending money with them, because they are trying to sell you a pipe dream that is completely unrealistic. If you didn't listen to last week's episode of the podcast, go back and listen to last week's episode of the podcast. I share my journey. It was a 4-year journey of blood, sweat, and tears, from nothing to running a successful business. 4 years of consistency for the long haul. And so if you are watching videos, or if you have signed up for a coaching program, or you've connected with somebody on social media and they are trying to sell you something different, I can say with 99.9% confidence that they are lying to you and you are going to get screwed. This is a long game. There is no one right way. And what I mean by that is, if you like to email, email. If you like to cold call, cold call. If you like Instagram, use Instagram. If you like LinkedIn, use LinkedIn. You don't need to use them all. You need to use the ones that work for you. You don't need to use them all. You need to use the ones that you want to work. Because if you have to force yourself to use marketing strategies that you're not excited about, it's going to be even more painful for you, and you're going to find even more excuses to not do it. So there are a lot of different strategies that you can put into play that can make this happen. A lot of different strategies that you can use to grow your business. And part of what I do when I work with voice actors, and part of what I teach in the playbook, is helping you come up with some of those strategies that may work for you by presenting you with a number of different strategies that you can deploy. Remember that you are building a business, and the key word in that phrase is not business in this sense, which I know sounds weird because this is the Everyday VOpreneur podcast. The key word in this sentence is building. Building takes time, and building requires a foundation. And if you do not have the necessary blocks to build a strong foundation, you are not ready to market your voiceover business. And finally, if you think that all you need to do is get an agent and then you have arrived, I am sorry to tell you that for the vast majority of the population of voice actors on planet Earth, that is simply not realistic. They are one tool in the toolbox, but they can't be the entire toolbox. I hope that you found this helpful. I hope that it's given you something to think about. One thing that I'm always going to do is I'm going to be straight with you. I am telling you that these things are 5 things that I consider to be essential because based on my own experience in growing my own business and building my own business, these are the things that I look back on and I see how important they were along the journey. So if you can get these things right, and if you can accept the reality check that comes with some of these things, then you are going to be in so much of a better place. If you don't accept some of these reality checks, you are going to struggle, and you are probably not going to get to where you want to be. And that doesn't mean that I'm telling you that you can't get there. I'm just saying, realistically, if you want to get there, these are things you're going to have to take into consideration. Consistency, playing the long game. There's no one right way. You're building a business, and an agent is not the quick fix that some of you may be hoping that it is. Need more help in the business and marketing side of things? There are 100 episodes that you can go back through now, and every single one of them is offering actionable, practical advice on the business and marketing side of voiceover. You can listen to any of them anytime at VOPRENEUR.com. I'd also encourage you to jump over to my YouTube channel because I've got tons of different tip videos going back for years on my YouTube channel. Again, all designed to give you actionable, practical advice that is going to help you to grow your voiceover business. Thanks so much for listening. Catch you on the next one.
The Everyday VOpreneur podcast. Available everywhere fine podcasts are given away for free. Mostly, we think.
Your voiceover demos are your #1 marketing tool, and you need to display them on your website in a way that works on any device or browser. VoiceSam is the player producers love. Plus, it offers tools that can improve your email signature, quickly create a one-page website, and much more. Sign up now at voicesam.com/MarkScott and get 3 months of the base player for the price of 1. That's voicesam.com/MarkScott for full details and to sign up.
And scene.
And that's a wrap. Thanks for hanging in. Thanks for hanging out. Want more VOpreneur goodness? Jump online at VOpreneur.com.